I said that differentiated instruction also considered tiered tasks, okay? So I really liked this definition in which they are comparing these three different tiers or these three different levels. They compare it to a wedding cake, okay? So in this case, what do we get from the image, okay? We have these three different levels. So we are going to the base, okay? And there, if you see, we have just the plate. So it means that these students are going to be the ones who are going to have more freedom. They can work more independently, okay? And they just need monitoring, but in a very discreet way. They are eager to run risks, okay? They are able to do more, okay? Then, if you see, we have some pillars, okay? I'm going to talk about the pillars in a minute, okay? So then we have the blue level, I would say, okay? This second level or this second tier is going to be like the average students, okay? So they are going to have limited choices, but they are going to be guided, but they still have some independence, okay? Then we're going to have the last that we maybe can see that it is in fact the first level for students, okay, are the low achievers. So we have to provide guidance here. We can have simpler activities, okay, so that they are consolidating this and then they can move to the other level and to the other level. If you see here, we have the pillars, and these pillars are going to be like the scaffolding that we all know, okay? But something that it is curious and I really like about this model is that these pillars are going to be not only provided, or this scaffolding is not going to be provided just by the teacher, but also from other students. And I think that this is like the magic of all this model, okay? That we are not depending only on the scaffolding or the support of the teacher, but also the peer support, okay? So I think that this is like making this model round, okay? So yes, as you said, they are easy activities, okay? So they don't require like a lot of effort or a lot of time. Well, so another key element is collaborative work. And I have to rush because the time is running out, okay? So we can, as usual, work in pairs. We can work in groups. And we can also use the whole group in order to do collaborative work, okay? I remember that a peer teacher told me, I almost never use pair work. And I think that he has a point. Because he said, you know, when we have pairs, sometimes one of them is not working and the other gets frustrated. So for me, the best option is trios. It made sense, okay? But you can choose whatever you want and you can see how your students are working, okay? I will give more details, for example, in collaborative work and how can we organize them in a minute. Then, yes, I agree, Israel, that cake looks delicious and maybe we can try it in class. Okay, we can also group or do small groups. And as we said, also like have different learning stations, okay? And depending on the number of students that you have, we can play a little bit with this. Then how can we do collaborative work with the whole group? Well, we can, for example, do activities like find someone who, okay? So that all of them are asking and answering questions, okay? They love it, okay? Sometimes, you know, we can use different strategies for grouping, okay? So sometimes it can be on purpose, okay? And we can pair them, for example, a weak student with a weak student, strong and weak, or strong and strong, but we have to give variety, okay? We cannot be like all the time with the same group, all the time with the same combination, okay? As I said, we can pair it like on purpose, okay? And maybe I can have like a pre-plan on how I am going to group my students for a specific purpose. Or I can use a roulette, okay? So that it can be random, okay? Well, thank you so much, Elena. Okay, so here we said variety is the key element here. okay? So that we can change a lot. And we also provide the opportunity to work with different people, okay? Sometimes we feel safe working with our friends, but we learn more, okay, if we interact with other people. Well, the type of tasks, okay, we can also give variety of the type of tasks, thinking about the ones that can be compulsory and maybe are going to be considered for assessment, okay? But then we can also have optional tasks. And here I really love this kind of tasks because it is not necessary that you give extra points for this. And it can be just for the pleasure of doing, of achieving. If you work, for example, with gamification, it can be also a very good option, okay? So if you choose one of the optional tasks, okay, you are going to win a coin for the gamification activities that we do, okay? We can also do, okay, you did the optional thing, okay, you can win, I don't know, now we don't have candies, right, in classrooms, but I don't know, like a medal, okay? Or we can stop giving something else, okay? So just for the pleasure of practicing, okay? And I think that we also have to work this with our students, okay? So learning itself, okay, is going to be the thing that you win, okay? I know that in some cases it is difficult to convince them, okay? But it would be also something that we can have. Okay, and here I say it is just for the sense of achievement, okay, to know that I was able to do it. Well, let's see some examples, okay? So we have, I thought about fruits, okay? So let's imagine this for kindergarten level, okay? So for example, we can have food vocab. The topic is related to food vocabulary to express likes and dislikes, okay? So if we go back to the cake, okay, we have the first one that it has to be really scaffolded and really guided by the teacher is going to be to identify the vocabulary, okay? So, for example, I have my flashcards or I have Realia and I have my bananas here and my apple, or I ask my students to bring their fruit and then they can also eat it, okay? So, whatever you want, okay? So, the first step or the first tier is going to be identify it, okay, with the name. Then we can go beyond, and the second one is going to be describe it, okay? So it is yellow, a yellow banana. It is sweet, a sweet apple, a round apple, okay? And then we go to the last one, okay? Express your opinion, and we can say, I love apples, but I don't like bananas, okay? So, and it is not necessary that my students that are low achievers are going to stay there forever, okay? And maybe if they see that the others are participating and creating a sentence, maybe they can challenge themselves and do it also, okay? And with this simple thing, like having bananas and apples, we can have a lot of activities. I see that, for example, you say sizes, colors, okay? So yes, we can have a lot of things. And maybe here, once that you have done it, you can eat your banana, okay? So whatever you want, okay? Yes, they love to compete, okay? But in this competition, it is not that they are going to fight, okay? But then I see that my friend has already created a sentence. Oh, I have to do one also, right? And then here, the idea body says, what about a song, okay? So yes, they are going to, yes, okay, and they can even create their song, okay? We can play any song that you want, any rhythm, and they have to create the sentence. I love bananas, la la la. I don't know. I'm a very bad singer, but they can be also, okay? Well, another example, and maybe for primary school, okay, and related to socio-emotional things, okay? Identifying emotions, okay? So the first tier is going to be identify. How do you feel today? I am sad, I am happy, I'm depressed, I'm tired, okay? Then the second one, describe why, okay? Today I feel sad because yesterday I have a row with my sister, for example, okay? And then you're going to write a short paragraph, okay? my sister and I, yesterday we were blah, 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 blah. And then it has to be just a short paragraph, okay? But it is going to serve for many different purposes, okay? Not only to identify your emotion, but also to use the target language, for example, okay? So there can be a lot of opportunities, and we don't need to plan a lot of things, okay? Maybe here we just need their notebook, okay? We don't need anything more. Or maybe a chart with the emotions, right? Then we have the extra challenge with the idea guy. Can you identify your emotions every class? Okay, in some classrooms, they also have like these posters where they can have like or identify the emotions every class. They can also write happy or sad face on their notebooks, etc. Okay, well, we're almost done. So adapting materials, okay, this is one that students are also going to love. Choose your task, okay? Previously, we said 3 different levels, but if you feel overwhelmed, okay, don't worry. We can have just 2 different activities, okay? And it doesn't have to be really long, okay? So here I have an example for a reading, okay? So your option number 1 is going to be true or false. We have the same reading, okay? Then your option number 1 is a true or false exercise. Do you want a challenge? Don't worry, multiple choice. Do you want another challenge? Okay, fill the gaps, okay? So what happens, for example, if I did it in the true or false, but I have like, oh, I want to try it? Don't worry. Do you want to try it? Do it as homework, okay? Do it with more time, do it at home, so we can also, grade it tomorrow, okay? Finally, okay, adapting materials, okay? Another one. Here we have one that is also a reading with a true or false, and then we're going to have 8 different questions, okay? So you are going to answer just the 5 questions, and then if you want, you can try the last 3 that are a little bit more difficult, okay? Just that. So here I don't have to invest all my evening planning or designing this material, okay? Just to close, some highlights, okay? We have discussed about this. First of all, you are not alone, okay? We are not the only teacher who is facing a multi-level classroom, okay? And in this, you are not alone. In our communities, we also have other teachers, okay, that are living this, okay? We can share, we can even establish a community of practice, okay? Don't use labels, okay? We're not going to say, oh, you're a low achiever. No, 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 no. We have that in mind, but we have to plan and to work without these labels. Do different tasks with the same material, as we said, okay? We have the questions and maybe you draw a line and only the ones that you want to answer as easy level. Empower your students, give them choice, give them the possibility to choose and to select. Collaboration is key, as we said. We can have different kinds of groups. Scaffolding is going to be always necessary. And then we also know that we have to plan and prepare. Prepare with another activity, okay? Fast finishers, okay? We have a lot of things that can be already as a bank of things that we can have there, okay? Well, thank you so much.